Hey everyone, my name's Kieran and welcome back to Top Deck TCG, where today we're going to be talking about a brand new deck building tool for Flesh and Blood. Now, deck building has always been a core part of most TCGs, where you'll put all the best tricks and tactics together in order to beat your opponent, but it would be nice if we could get a head start into unfamiliar territory. Now, things can get a bit daunting when picking up a new hero, because it's kind of tough sometimes to learn the staples. It can take a wee bit of time to try and figure out what the ratio of reds to blues are. But this new tool aims to solve that problem, and today we're going to take a look at FabRec. But before we get stuck into this video, make sure to get subscribed to stay up to date with all things Flesh and Blood. So what is FabRec? Now, FabRec is actually a project made by the same team who made EDHRec, a popular deck building tool for Magic the Gathering. So for anyone who's not familiar with Magic the Gathering, and this includes me, EDHRec is a tool where you can search up a commander, I think they're called commanders, and you can look up all of the cards that most people would use in that deck. You get percentage breakdowns of how many players are using a certain card, so you can get some really cool ideas for like what you could run. You also get mana curves, which will show you the curve of mana that you make in the game, as well as various other things like the price of cards and this really cool section called Saltiest Cards for some reason. I really hope we get that in FabRec. Anyways, let's take a look at FabRec and see exactly how this translates into the world of Flesh and Blood. So the way that this website works is that it takes an analysis of, at the time of making this video, just over 3,800 decks and collates all that data and does AI magic on it to figure out the percentage of different cards that different players run in their decks. So let's say, for example, you're cheeky and you want to try your hand at building a Bravo Star of the Show deck. I know we just went Love and Legend, but I want to donk a few friends before he goes away. So let's dive in and see exactly how we would start building our Bravo Star of the Show deck. So as we can see here, we're given a breakdown of the card type distribution that would typically be involved in a Bravo Star of the Show deck. We're given a breakdown of attack actions, non-attack actions, defense reactions, attack reactions. Basically, this is the breakdown that most players will find their decks averaging towards. Yours may be slightly more, slightly less. I definitely would not recommend using this website as a be-all and end-all absolute decision-making tree for your deck building. However, I do think that things like this are exceedingly useful if maybe you're trying to troubleshoot or something. Maybe you've got too many attacks, you haven't got enough defense reactions, and maybe this will help you kind of smooth things out a little bit. We can see the average pitch of cards. Obviously, Starvo leans very heavily towards the blue side of things. I mean, a lot of reds in Starvo would typically be a bad thing, considering how expensive Guardian cards cost, so this is to be expected. We can also see the typical resource cost of cards in the deck. Again, a very good metric to see exactly if you have enough resources to pay for the cards that you're including in your build. Scrolling down, we see the equipment. We see that 99% of Starvo decks run Crown of Seeds and 100% of surveyed decks run Craterfest. My goodness. But hey, all joking aside, if you were looking to buy some equipment for your Starvo, things like this would be a very strong indicator that you are investing your money wisely. I never recommend that people go out and start dumping their money into random legendaries for no reason. I mean, you get utility out of them, but my goodness, they are expensive. But at least this way you can see that if you decide to buy a Craterfest to play Starvo, that you're probably gonna make very strong use of the money that you're putting into this deck. So let's move over and check a different hero. I don't know, let's try my boy Kano. So I made a video recently talking about whether or not Kano would survive the bans in the blitz format. So let's dive in and see exactly what the young Firelord has to offer now that two of his best cards were taken away. But if we scroll down, we can see Metacarpus Node 100%, Stormstriders 100%. My goodness, Stormstriders have got expensive since Icelander came out. I remember when that thing was like £40. But if you were to invest in, say, the white border version, because that's the one you should be buying, I mean, my goodness, it's at least a little bit cheaper these days. 100% of decks run it, so that is a good decision for a legendary to buy for this deck. And so immediately scrolling down, we can see a contradiction to the video that I made last time. If you haven't watched that video, don't worry, this isn't going to be spoiling anything. You can still get me narking about Kano for 30 minutes over, I think it's up here in the corner. But I wrote off Emeritus Scolding as being a card that I wouldn't use in that deck, but we can see here that 87% of players are using Emeritus Scolding. Now, I'm not saying that this is immediately going to change my mind and that I'm going to include Emeritus Scolding, but it means that if 87% of players are using it, I may as well playtest it and see if there's something there. I mean, it would be a bit arrogant of me to just write off what 87% of players are doing without at least testing it. So again, I think that that's one of the useful parts of this website, is giving you like a compass to take your deck building journey in. So that's the deck building portion of the website, and honestly, I'm going to get a lot of use out of this. I have a pro quest coming up in like 2 weeks time. I'm not sure whether or not I'm going to run Kano or not like I normally do, but I'm definitely going to now take my build over to this website, and I'm going to check and see exactly how my build stacks up against what other players are using, and see if I can playtest some new ideas to give me a little bit more of an edge in ProQuest. But anyways, we also have some other sections of the website. We see things like blitz staples, classic constructed staples, and class staples. This is going to be fantastic for anyone who's looking to spend some money on the game, pick up some singles. I think that this is going to allow people to get the most value for their money. So let's just take a dive through each section and see exactly how we would use each one in our deck building process. So when we go into blitz staples, we see here that it's broken down by equipment action, attack action, defense reaction, all the stuff you would expect from a game of Flesh and Blood. And we can see that Argonite's Skullcap is involved in 56% of blitz decks. So if you were going to buy a legendary, Argonite Skullcap is going to get you the most bang for your buck if blitz is the format that you want to invest most of your time and money into. Again, this section is fantastic. I wouldn't say for new players straight away, because I mean there are a lot of kind of expensive cards on here like Command and Conquer. However, for someone who's getting more serious about their deck building and maybe wants to take things a little bit more competitively, I would say that this is going to be an invaluable resource for them to kind of take that next step. The same goes for the classic constructed section, but I think that if you were to go one step further again, I think that that's where the class staples are going to become really important. So for example, I really enjoy playing Wizard. I've been playing Kano a lot recently, and recently got name dropped on the Flesh and Blood website as a top 8 finisher in ProQuest with Kano. That's something, I suppose. But I also am looking to try my hand at Icelander whenever we get the full suite of cards in Uprising, so I want to make sure that I have enough staples to cover my transition between the Ice and Fire Wizards. My goodness, I love Flesh and Blood. So as we can see, again, I was totally wrong in that last video, because Emeritus Skulldin with his wonderful beard is being included in 79% of all Wizard decks. Now, I do understand that at the moment Icelander would be underrepresented because we only have like the Blitz format from Everfest. But at the same time, this is a pretty good indicator of the type of staple cards that I should be looking at if I want to take Icelander seriously as a wizard, if I want to float back and forth between Icelander and Kano. This is going to be a great blueprint for me to see exactly what I need in my wizard arsenal to make the best and most competitive decks for all wizards in the game. Also, just on a side note, the same team has launched spellvoid.com, and it's a Flesh and Blood database where you can search different cards, you can search based on pitch values and lots of other advanced features. Effectively, this is the same feature that we already have in FabDB, but it would be very interesting to see what the team does with this in the future, considering the fact that they are so seasoned in Magic the Gathering with EDHRec. I could see spellvoid.com being another fantastic resource, and once more features get added, we'll talk about it more on the website from a deck building perspective. Now, there are 2 features that I would love to see on FabRec, and I am fully aware that it's in beta, and I would be very surprised if the developers were not thinking of including these features. I have every faith that they will, considering the work that they did over on EDHRec. Now, one of the features over on EDHRec that I really enjoyed was the combo section. It gives players a nice little breakdown of different combos for different colors, and I think that this would be really useful for players looking to get into a new class. Like, for example, if you were looking to get into classic constructed wizard, you would see Stir the Ether Winds and Fork Lightning and see, oh look, there's a combo that I can try to play in a deck. But again, it's already live over on EDHRec. I would be very surprised if this type of information didn't get launched into FabRec in the future. And also, another thing that I would like to see is the breakdown of elemental cards or shadow and light cards. I don't know how easy that would be from a developer perspective, but for example, when looking through the Starvo deck list, I think it would be really important to know the breakdown of earth, lightning, and ice cards in a Starvo deck. Whilst yes, you can work that out from looking through, you know, the staples that are there, and you can figure out kind of which elements are represented more or less. At the same time, it would be very useful to have that as like a pie chart breakdown for like the average breakdown of elemental cards. And I think that that would really help my transition over into playing elemental heroes in the future by giving me just at least a slight indicator that I'm going in the right direction with my element ratios. Anyways, Don't know if it's a bit of a short or a long video. I rambled a lot because I was diving through this website and loving the deck building opportunities that we have now. So if you like this, if you find this video useful, please let me know down below. If you've used EDHRec in the past and you know of some more cool features that could make its way over to FabRec, again, let me know. This is the type of stuff I love. I love deck building. I love coming up with new ideas. I love seeing what other people are playing. Oh my god, it's so much fun. I can't wait to see what we all build using this website. And also, if you like the video, make sure to get subscribed to stay up to date when I post new videos. Anyways, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.